Diving deep into Foster's home for imaginary friends.
Oh, yeah.
And we might find out it's even weirder than we thought.
I love that show.
Yeah, and we've got some fan theories that are going to make things really interesting.
Lay it on me.
So we're looking at a compilation on Wattpad.
Wattpad.
Yeah, it's that site where people share stories and ideas.
Oh, right.
This one's from a user called 99-Cent Dreams.
Catchy.
Right? We've also got this blog post by John Negroni.
Oh, I know him. He does those deep dives into, like, pop culture and stuff.
Exactly. He always finds the good stuff.
Yeah.
So just in case anyone out there isn't familiar with the show.
Yeah, good idea.
Foster's is set in this world where imaginary friends are, like, totally real.
To everyone.
Yeah, like everyone can see them.
And when kids grow up, their imaginary friends go live in this huge house.
Run by Madam Foster.
Yeah, it's like a retirement home for imaginary friends.
It's such a cool concept, right?
Absolutely.
And these theories we're looking at, they really shake things up.
Especially when it comes to Frankie.
Frankie Foster, the one who keeps the whole home running.
Right, like she's the caretaker there.
Yeah, so both of our sources, like right away, they asked this question.
What's that?
What if Frankie is actually an imaginary friend herself?
Whoa.
I know, right?
I always thought she was like Madame Foster's granddaughter or something.
Me too. When I was a kid, I totally thought that.
But both 99-Cent Dreams and John Negroni, they point this out.
What's that?
Frankie doesn't seem to have any imaginary friends of her own.
Ah, that's weird.
Yeah, it's super unusual in the Fosters world for someone not to have at least one.
I never noticed that before.
It's easy to miss, but it's a pretty big deal.
So how do they even connect Frankie to Madame Foster?
Well, the theory is that Frankie is like a younger version of Madame Foster.
What?
Yeah, brought to life through imagination.
Whoa, hold on.
And get this, there's actually some visual clues that kind of back this up.
Really? Like what?
Well, think about Frankie's clothes.
She wears like those vintage dresses and cardigans, right?
Yeah. Exactly. It's kind of like
a younger version of Madame Foster's style.
Yeah, like a modern take on it.
Wow, that's a good point.
And if Frankie had an imaginary friend, it would explain why she's so devoted to the home.
Oh, you're right. It'd be like she's taking care of a part of herself.
Exactly.
That's kind of a sweet thought, actually.
It is.
But okay, if she's an imaginary friend, shouldn't someone remember creating her?
Yeah, that's where things get a little more complicated.
Like how?
Well, the theory suggests that maybe even Frankie herself doesn't realize she's imaginary.
Whoa.
Or maybe it's more fluid than that,
Like, what do you mean?
Well, remember, some imaginary friends in the show, they've developed, like, strong connections to humans, even romantic ones.
Oh, yeah, like when Frankie went on that date.
With the guy from the comic book store.
Yeah, exactly.
So even if she was imagined by someone, maybe she's developed her own sense of independence.
And can, like, form relationships and stuff.
It's a really interesting idea, right?
Yeah, it makes you think about what it even means to be real or imaginary. This is already blowing my mind.
And we're just getting started. Makes you wonder how much of ourselves we put into the things we create, even if they're just imaginary.
Right. Like, what if Frankie really is, like, a younger version of Madame Foster?
Yeah.
Would that explain why Madame Foster is always so, like, full of life and energy?
Even though she's supposed to be super old.
Exactly.
That's actually something John Negroni talks about in his blog post.
Oh, yeah.
He thinks that Madame Foster's youthful spirit could be because of Frankie.
Because of Frankie.
Yeah, like maybe Frankie's love and care for her. It's like...
Keeping Madame Foster young?
Exactly.
So it's not just that Frankie might be imaginary.
It's that she's the reason Madame Foster is still so, like, young at heart.
Whoa. That's deep.
Right. It makes you think about, like, the power of imagination.
If we can create something as real and complex as an imaginary friend...
What else can we do with our minds?
Okay, I'm with you on this whole Frankie imagination thing.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that's been bugging me.
What's that?
99-Cent Dreams mentioned it on Wattpad. Remember how Frankie has a driver's license?
Oh, yeah, the driver's license thing.
Why would an imaginary friend need a driver's license?
It's one of the biggest arguments against the whole Frankie's imaginary theory.
They can teleport, they can walk through walls.
Exactly.
But then John Negroni, he throws a curveball? What do you mean?
In his blog post, he suggests that maybe it's not Frankie who's imaginary.
Wait, what?
What if it's Madame Foster?
Whoa, hold on.
Like, what if the entire Foster's home?
This crazy, amazing place.
It's all just Frankie's imagination.
So you're saying Frankie's real and Madame Foster is the imaginary one?
Yeah.
My mind is blown.
It's a pretty big twist, right?
But it kind of makes sense.
Like why Madame Foster acts so childlike.
Even though she's supposed to be like 100 years old.
Exactly.
And if Madame Foster is basically Frankie's imaginary friend...
It would explain why Frankie's so dedicated to the home.
It wouldn't just be a job, it'd be like taking care of a part of herself.
Right? And think about what this means for all the other imaginary friends at the home.
Okay.
If Madame Foster is that part of Frankie that never wanted to grow up.
Then maybe all the other imaginary friends are like parts of their creators that they had to let go of.
As they got older,
It's kind of sad.
it adds like a whole other layer to the show.
But it also makes it more relatable.
Like, who hasn't felt nostalgic for the things they loved as kids?
Yeah, the things we had to leave behind as we became adults.
Maybe that's why Foster's Home is so popular, even with adults.
It reminds us that it's okay to hold on to those parts of ourselves.
Even if they seem silly or childish,
Exactly. It's like a celebration of imagination.
and a reminder
Hmm.
that even though we grow up, we don't have to completely lose touch with our inner child.
You know, it's amazing how Fosters can be so funny,
Yeah.
but then you like dig a little deeper and
There's all this like meaning and emotion.
it's great.
It really shows you what good storytelling can do.
For sure, like it sticks with you even after you've finished watching. And these fan theories, they just add to that.
Yeah.
They make you question everything you thought you knew about the show.
And they make you think about your own imaginary friends.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Those things we created as kids,
Did they just like disappear?
or did they leave a mark on us?
I used to have this imaginary friend named Captain Awesome.
Captain Awesome.
He was like a superhero version of me.
That's so cool.
Always saving the day, you know?
Sounds like he was a reflection of your own desire for adventure.
Totally. And even though I haven't thought about him in years,
Yeah.
I can still remember him so clearly.
It's like those parts of ourselves we put into our imaginary friends.
They never really go away.
Maybe they just become part of who we are.
So maybe we never really outgrow our imaginary friends.
Maybe they just change with us.
Like Captain Awesome, he's probably still out there.
Fighting for justice.
Even if he's not wearing a cape anymore.
I love that.
So we've gone from Frankie's origins to like the impact of our own imaginary friends.
It's been a wild ride.
What stands out to you the most?
That's a tough one.
Does it change how you see Fosters?
I think it makes me want to watch it again with fresh eyes.
Me too.
See all those little details we might missed.
And here's a final thought for you.
Okay.
If imaginary friends really do represent parts of ourselves,
Yeah.
what happens when we outgrow them?
Do those parts of us just vanish?
Or do they take on a new form?
Like a home full of weird friends.
It's a cool thought, right?
It is. It's like,
We don't have to let go of the magic.
even when we grow up.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Until next time, keep those imaginations firing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining CMF Conspiracies podcast. What do you think about the topic we covered today? Comment below with your thoughts on this subject. If you have a conspiracy you wish for us to deep dive into, please send your topic to our email address or leave it in the comments. Thank you again for watching. Like and subscribe for more content like this.